Cyberpunk Uncensored.
Hey, we're officially live. Everybody can see us now. What's up? How's everybody doing?
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
How's it going?
Hey.
So yeah, everybody,
How's it going out there?
Thanks for tuning in and checking out the new team. This is going to be our official session 0. You might recognize some of the players as other streamers. You've seen them online, plus some of them have been playing with me in the past, in the previous one-shots that we did. So we'll get into all those details and stuff in just a moment. But before we do that, let's just go around the table. Everyone take a moment to introduce yourselves and let people know where they can find you, and then we'll get into the game talk stuff. Sean, you want to start it off?
Oh, absolutely. Hi, everyone. My name is Sean. I'm an actor, podcaster, voiceover artist, teacher, now streamer, apparently. And I'm a part of Baby Beard Media. You probably know at least two quarters of them through their work with Rob. And we do a podcast called Roll to Cast, ROLE, which is a tabletop role-playing podcast where we go through a different system every season with original music and original story. We've had the pleasure of going through Cyberpunk 2020 and RED, as well as games like Vampire the Masquerade, Pulp Cthulhu, and in 2 weeks' time, Kids on Bikes. So yeah, that's something to look forward to, and you can find us at Baby Beard Media on Twitter, or myself at Sean Means John, because it does mean John.
Nice.
It's true.
Awesome. Tarabella?
Hi, I'm Tarabella Pondsmith. I'm a busybody, and more likely I'll find you guys. I kind of haunt over the net, ghosting in places, usually Facebook. And that's me. I'm less interesting.
Greg?
I'm Greg. I have a YouTube show called How to Drink where I make cocktails, and then and I do this because I'm a big dork and I'm having fun, and always have been. And that's me. And you can check me out at on Twitch at Greg from HDD, but on YouTube at How to Drink as well. So I'm around.
Hell yeah. Roten?
I'm Rotin. Also, Renegade 420. That's how you find me on the Twitter, Twitch, anywhere. Actually, I don't do a lot. I'm a mod at the Cyberpunk Uncensored Discord, and I've been playing with Rob for a while now. So I was looking forward to coming back, and now finally we got it.
Yeah, it's been a while. Steve?
Yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Steve from Sirenscape. I played in Rob's games before, so you've probably already know me from my time as Bodak. I'm really kind of looking forward to getting to bring him back again. Where you can find me is pretty much anything that's to do with Sirenscape. So any of the big shows, any of the conventions, obviously the Don't Have a Camera stream that Rob does for us on Thursdays. So yeah, definitely check out Sirenscape. And if you don't know what it is, you'll actually hear it in these streams, because all of the cool sounds that Rob plays are the things that I've built. So it's a really nice way of showing those off.
Oh yeah. Yeah, once we get into the proper sessions, everyone will be able to hear all the great sound effects and background noises and ambiance and all that cool stuff that Sirenscape does. I recommend everybody check that out. And it's not just because I'm part of the team stream with them on Thursdays. I honestly was a fan prior to working with them. You know, that's how I found them and hit them up. It's really cool. So yeah, you know, everybody tuning in, hopefully you recognize everybody, you get to know everybody, you give them a follow. I'm going to put everyone's links and stuff in the description when we hit the VOD. So everybody, please show the players some love. I'm Rob Mulligan. I'm the founder of Cyberpunk Uncensored. We create so much Cyberpunk content. We have probably the most videos and podcast episodes dedicated to Cyberpunk RED than any other content creator. I've been checking it out. We have hundreds of videos now all about Cyberpunk RED, tutorials, crash courses, different series, interviews, so much live gameplay. We're now showcasing other GMs. We have like 4 or 5 gameplay streams a week that are going to be really picking up momentum over the next couple weeks and then being consistent moving forward, as well as I run the Sirenscape game every Thursday over on their channel. please, everybody go check out cyberpunkuncensored.com. Not now, stay with us now, but when this is done, go check that shit out. There's a bunch of free assets there to help your gameplay, as well as links to everything that we have going on. I'd love your support. Let's get into session 0. Before we dive into the characters, the life path, how everybody knows each other, all that stuff, I do want to have the typical session 0 speech where I explain to all the players and everybody watching, this is Cyberpunk. I play it pretty hard. There's going to be, gore and action and intense moments, twists, but there's also going to be fun and funny shit and puns, and we have a good time. So it's not all just dark and evil feeling all the time. But there's certain things that I don't mess with, I don't like violence against, kids or animals too much. I might brush over, sexual scenes and stuff. That stuff will just be kind of like a fade to black or just a generalization, and then we'll get to the end of it. Obviously, no racism, sexism, things like that. I try not to mess with mental disabilities and stuff like that. Just a typical offensive shit I try not to put out there, with the exception of gore and action and stuff. I think we can all accept that. And what I typically do is if there is a kill or something really intense, I'll kind of pass the mic to the player and let them know, hey, why don't you describe how you just ended that person's life, if it was the last hit point or such. And then the player can explain it as comfortable as they are, that scene or whatever. That being said, if anything ever bothers anybody that's ever watching any of the streams, just shoot me a message. Just let me know, hey, that offended me or this or that. Just explain it, and we can remedy that situation and just moving forward be a better team. So, like I said, we try to avoid that stuff, but you never know. Sometimes shit can, hurt people's feelings or just step on emotions a bit, and we don't want to do that. So, what I'd like to do is go around the table. If anyone else wants to, has other things to add that they would like for as far as gameplay, things that subjects that they don't want us to mess with, unless I covered it all, then that's cool. You can say that. But if there's anything else you want to add, please do that. Also keep in mind, if there's anything that, you don't like any subject matter or things that you don't want to get involved with gameplay that you don't want to mention during the live stream, because it's just a little too personal or something along those lines, you can shoot me a private message after this session 0 and just let me know, and I'll absolutely, incorporate that into my planning and such. So, but yeah, Sean, how do you feel about, gameplay in this session 0, the things I said and such?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm pretty easy across the board in terms of I'm more than happy to trust you as a GM in knowing what's appropriate and great to represent us and the story in general. Nothing that you haven't already touched, racism, sexism, homophobia, transphobia, all those things, just better to not have to worry about and deal with it all, and as it should be. So I'm pretty happy and set.
Perfect. Awesome. Tarabella?
Same. I like the guidelines you've got.
Okay, perfect. Greg?
I think you covered everything. Yeah, I have nothing to add.
Okay. Roten?
I've been playing here before, and I always liked it the way it was, so everything okay for me.
Awesome. Steve?
Yeah, I think you've pretty much covered it all there. So kind of any form of discrimination, really, I'm kind of quite strongly against. And obviously, anything kind of avoiding anything to do with children being hurt or harmed. Kind of give that a wide berth.
Okay, no problem. I think we're all on the same page with that. And like I said, if there's anything that pops in your head after this or later, whatever, just shoot me a message. Let me know. You know what I mean? It's no big deal. All right, I think we covered kind of the safety zone, the lines and veils, so to speak. Let's get into the characters. If everyone can go into Roll20, open your character sheet, get to the life path. What I'd like to do is go character to character and just, describe the life path, describe your character. I'll ask questions when I get to you, so you'll better understand what I'm looking for. But as you're reading your life path and you're going over those details, I'd love all the other players to pay attention to that while looking at your life path and thinking of ways that they can intermix, or, you know what I mean? If somebody mentions something of a past relative here or there doing something, and you have something in your life path similar, maybe you can connect that, and boom, that's how the characters can already have a history together or such. So look at your life path while everyone else is going over theirs. I also want to mention Pixie, Gato, Bodak. Like we said before, we were always doing these one-shots where they were, they had carryover lore in the general campaign, but each session was treated like a one-shot in that there was no to be continued, no cliffhangers. We tried to have each session kind of stand alone, even though some of the lore and things would carry over. And we really wanted to get into an ongoing and have everything, carry on, be able to rock cliffhangers and things, and just treat the game a little more invested in the characters rather than that one-shot feel. So I'm real happy that we're here and we're doing this now. But that being said, these characters already have a connection. We already kind of figured that out in the life path of those characters. But we also have the history of what happened in those one-shots with these characters, and you earned IP through that. So after this session 0, I want Dust and Scoop, I think, to add 360, I think is the number. I'm going to double check it, but IP to your sheet. You have 360 IP to work with. That way you guys can get up to caliber with the other 3 members of your team, because I think some of you, like Gato's on level roll ability 5 now as a fixer, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so see, Dust and Scoop, you got, I'll double check it, but I'm pretty sure 360 IP to work with after this, so you can get,
I'll make a note. Do you mind if I, just from a gameplay perspective, do you need me to spend that, or can I kind of sit on that and see how my character will develop?
Oh no, you can
I play?
sit. Yeah, you can sit on it too. It's
Cool.
there for you to when you're ready. Yeah, to take it up a notch so you can be at the same level as everybody else.
Right.
Yeah, so let me try to summarize the one-shots a little bit so Dust and Scoop know where Pixie, Bodak, and Gato are coming from. And I recommend anybody watching, check out the one-shots on the Cyberpunk Uncensored YouTube channel. And you can see these players with the other player that they were working with that ended up dying and making a new character. But you'll see kind of how they work together and what happened. I'm going to try to do a quick summarization, but all the details are there. It's a lot of fun. I recommend everybody check those out. But ultimately, the team was working together for IMG, which is an indie media group, kind of competing with Net54. And they were being sent on, jobs. They had to save this rocker boy from some other corporation while he was doing a show. There was a potential hit on him. They got him. That became a team member. Then they were doing gigs. They got hired to go to the Chinese New Year and upload some file that ended up exposing Billy Bob, the face of Petrochem guy. And IMG was actually putting on that event. They were one of the main sponsors, so that kind of really messed up their relationship. It was unexpected when they went to go do the job to see all that there, but that ended that. Then they ended up working for Ling Po, but he, being an exec or whatever, he's also kind of crime family oriented. He's not on the up and up so much, but he runs the Wang Tang Fong, I think is the Fang. I'll have to look it up.
That was Wang Tang Fong, yeah.
Fong, yeah. And they're one of the biggest, kind of hardest divisions of the triad, so he's a dangerous guy. But they were working for him, but after a few missions, he was putting the rocker boy on tour, but it was kind of a facade so the team could go around to different locations and do pickups and drop-offs and things for Ling Po along the tour. But as they found out after a couple missions and sessions, Ling Po was kind of using them. They were expendable to him. He was kind of setting them up for failure. I mean, he even had them paying nomads, and the second they gave the briefcase of money, it fucking exploded and fucked them all up. And it was there's some crazy things that went down that weren't good for the team. So I think at one point, Gato's mentor was murdered, suspected of Ling Po's people or along those lines. So they left the tour, left the manager, went back to Night City to try to help that situation, found out it was a hit by some of the triads or something, and they found out, I guess, what boss guy was in charge of that hit, and they were in the process of going to that club to, I guess, try to get some evidence against Ling Po, maybe take some revenge on that guy or just see what's up. But during that, they met this new media who just had a vest full of explosives. That was the Rocker Boy's new character, just a little behind-the-scenes info. But what we'll say, since we never got to get into that session, Pixie, Bodak, and Gato, and since Julian Trench, I think was his name, the media, since he's not here and able to play regularly, what I'm going to say is when you found out that location, and since he wasn't exactly part of your team yet, he wasn't as on the same page with y'all, he was a little bit crazy, as you saw. We'll say when he found out that location, he went in there and set off the bomb. I think me and Roten talked about that behind the scenes, and I like that idea. I think he'd probably do that. He was looking to get some revenge. He was on his own mission. He had his own background things that he didn't even talk about, but they were in his life path that I knew about. So there's things that pull that together. So we'll say he went and did that, but due to that, it really put a big target on the rest of you, because it didn't take long before Ling Po could connect the dots, realize you left the tour, you went back. He knows he put the hit on Gato's mentor because of her exposing him using the team. Then that bomb went off to his subsidiary that was kind of putting out the hit and running business behind the scenes. It was pretty obvious. So what I would like to do is say maybe Pixie, Bodak, and Gato had to kind of hit the underground for a while. You know, you guys had to kind of regroup. You were back down to just 3 of you, and you knew that shit was getting serious. So you just took a mini break. You backed off a little bit. You went in the underground to regather your thoughts and make a new plan of how are we going to survive in Night City and work and stay off the radar of Ling Po, yet still maybe get some revenge on this asshole, which is, I know, Gato's main objective, considering he murdered your mentor, let alone was using all of you. Does that all sound right and fair, Pixie?
Yep, that works.
Okay, cool. Then that's what we'll say. And now moving forward, what I'd like to do is let's go over the life path stuff. Let's connect it to Scoop and Dust and vice versa. And then figure out a way of how, in that underground time of in hiding before you regrouped your team, made a new team, regrouped your plan on making money and surviving in Night City, and still having Ling Po, to try to get revenge on or whatever. Let's figure out how they can come into that fold during that time, Let's do this first. Let's go over Pixie, Bodak, and Gato's life path. And we don't need to go into huge elaborate detail on some of the tangents that pull you guys together. I would like you to mention that if there's something that we went over so the rest of the team can know. But the main thing here is just to give Dust and Scoop a general idea of the different life path options that maybe they can connect to one of theirs. And that being said, if there was anything that we kind of said or determined from life path during the one shots that we need to maybe alter, or maybe there's an enemy gang or something and we already said it was going to be this, but then Scoop or Dust says, oh, actually I have that in my life path, maybe we could connect that. If we have to change the gang to a different name to make that work, we can totally do that. So just keep that in mind. Everything can be flexible. So let's just see how we can intermesh these life paths. Let's start with Bodak.
Okay, cool.
And sorry, before you start the life path, describe how your character looks so everyone can get an idea.
Yeah, so Bodak kind of wears a urban flash clothing, so he's kind of got like a black sleeveless tunic that has a hood on it. But it kind of quite often has kind of different images and patterns can move across it. He normally has kind of green, almost like carbon fiber hexagons appear all over the surface. He's got light tattoos down both of his arms. They're all kind of very kind of Japanese in theme, kind of dragons and koi, but they are light tattoos, so they move and change color all of the time. He's got cyber arm on his left arm, and he's obviously quite heavily cybered up. And he's very rarely seen without his katana, which is one of his prized possessions. The character himself was originally born in Paisley in Scotland, but he's been in Night City for most of his adult life. Kind of grew up originally, his family were corporate technicians, but they disappeared when he was in his kind of in mid-teens. So one of the things that kind of drives him is trying to track down what happened to his family and who's actually responsible for that. And that kind of led him into kind of net running and hacking into trying to find out as much information and dirt as he can on the corporations and the people he thinks are responsible. He's quite a stable and serious character, but he's also, although he has high humanity, because of his cyberware, his actual humanity score is quite low and has to go through quite a lot of therapy, which is something that him and Pixie both share in common. But he's just about managing to kind of stay on the right side of dipping at the minute. And yeah, he's somebody who, although I kind of he did work a lot with David Noir, the media, he always found it quite hard because Bodak is somebody who likes to be in the shadows. He likes to to be the kind of in the background. The whole point of Bodak is you don't see him, you don't know about him. He just is the intrusion specialist, and he found that very difficult at times when Noir was drawing all of the attention. So Bodak is someone who quite happily would just be left by himself to go and do what he needs to do, and he's competent enough to do it most of the time.
Yeah. Nice, well put. Gato?
Yeah, Gato, he is quite a tall young man. As he uses the tech hair, he can change the color and length of the hair, so that always varies from time to time and situation to situation. And well, his clothing style used to be urban flash, but gradually moved to the generic chic. So he's actually mostly wearing casual clothing. He is hardly ever seen without his very heavy pistol. And well, he grew up actually as the son of Corp XX until they fell victim to a conspiracy, which threw them back and made him spend his childhood in those decaying, once upscale neighborhoods, where he actually met Ava, who became his mentor very quickly. And well, that's about it about him. He used to work with her, and she was like the most important person to him until she got killed by Ling Po. He himself is quite ambitious and vengeful. So he actually really wants to not only hurt but destroy Ling Po, which is a very, very difficult task. Just to say it, just to keep it low. He likes very much working with Bodak, and also with Pixie Dust. He did like to use David Noir as a distraction. He liked to send David Noir somewhere, make his show so that he and Bodak could just keep working and doing their thing. But on the other hand, he was very often quite annoyed by David Noir just trying to pull everything to him. So when David Noir died, okay, he didn't like it, but he didn't care half as much as when Ava died, which made him really, really angry.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, and I think with the one shots tying you all together and causing you to have to kind of go underground, I think we'll be able to find. I've already been kind of thinking of some things. I've got some ideas to tie others in, but let's get Pixie to do the same that y'all did, and then we'll hear Dustin Scoop's life path and see if there's other things that tie in. But I think I've got a pretty interesting idea. But yeah, Pixie.
Pixie is short even for an Asian. She, as a young Japanese woman, has taken up interest in clothing that is, I would call Japanese schoolgirl. Though, given her career as a solo, these clothing pieces rarely last. So she tends to pick up bits and pieces off of once were people. Corpses, garbage places. Clothing. Yeah. We do our best. She has tech hair, so commonly you'll see it in pigtails, sometimes a high ponytail, sometimes it's shorter, more militaristic, out of the way. Sometimes it's short and fun pixie hairstyle, much given her name, Pixie Dust. She grew up in the combat zone and was used to a rough life young. Her parents were rarely around, too busy with their own net-running jobs. Instead, she was underfoot of a man she would one day call her mentor and learn her favorite skill from. By the age of 8, she was a sharpshooter, well known even at her young age for her skill. It was at the age of 10 that things took a turn for the worse when her parents suddenly vanished. Several years of investigation only turned up bodies and disappointments. Turning her focus to survival, she fell into bad habits. Having spent all of her small inheritance on finding her dead parents, drugs were her constant companion, as was her gun. By age 15, she had taken up the handle Pixie Dust for her heavy use of cocaine and other powdered drugs. She's gotten used to sleeping in streets or taking somebody else's sleeping spot and saving her money for cyberware and bullets in the next high. Having worked more recently with this crew, she's gotten used to more of a family feel, which she wasn't expecting. And probably not as much as a family feel as a normal person might call it, given she's close to edging on that psychopath line there. But given such, she's got her head in the game and is ready to go out for Ling Po. And if nothing else, it'll be a fun ride. And that's Pixie Dust.
Nice. Yeah, and it's funny. It just dawned on me, Pixie Dust, and then Greg's character, the medtech, is Dust Monday.
Re-roll my name. I was using a random name generator, and I liked the way it sounded. So.
Oh yeah, me too. Absolutely, yeah.
No, and now Pixie Dust has an RV where she can sleep in, right?
Right.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's right.
Finally.
I completely forgot about that. The team has that RV that was modded out. They stole it from a poser gang called the Tiger Kings that looked like that retro docu-series, The Tiger King. Like the leader was Tiger King.
Geez.
The other one was Carol, and then it was like that Tiger guy.
I had to die.
Somebody needs to go back and watch that one shot because the imagery that I put there is hilarious. You got to see that. But they stole the RV that was really just kind of a meth lab on wheels, but they took it to some nomads, Angels of the Coast, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And they, you paid them, they modded it out, put some bunks in it, took out all the drug shit, and now you've got this RV that you can travel around in, as well as stay in, if needed. But yeah, let's get into Pixie, Bodak, Gato. You three, like I mentioned before, have been just kind of in the underground and just in hiding for the most part, and just regrouping and figuring out, okay, what are we going to do to make money? How are we going to just get back on our feet and survive and live? And then obviously get back to plotting against Ling Po for revenge if that's the intentions. But through those thoughts, let's have, Dust and Scoop go over their life paths and about their characters, and let's just brainstorm ways that we can bring them in. And I have no problem if there's like a connection from the life path that, if it's something way in the past, that we can randomize the connection in current time, you know what I mean, to pull that connection from the past. So it doesn't necessarily have to be something, current that happened that brings you together. It could be totally something from long ago, and then we'll just randomly put you together now. But at least you'll have those roots that'll kind of have it make sense. But I have something else in mind. But just keep that in mind while you guys are listening, because I want everybody's ideas as we go. The more, the better. Greg, you want to get into it?
Yeah. So Dust Monday is he's a street doctor. Appearance-wise, you should probably picture Al Jorgensen in the 80s or Trent Reznor, like when Head Like a Hole came out, like he's wearing ripped up, partially acid washed black jeans, somewhat unlaced boots, generally a hold up band t-shirt and a leather jacket. But when you see him, he frequently has a full ruck bag on his back because he lives out of a backpack and moves from place to place frequently. He keeps his hair cut into a kind of a mohawk that he usually just does not put up. He leaves it down and over one side. I had originally bought tech hair for him, but I'm going to skip it because I think he would probably not waste money on that as a character, actually. And if you want me to literally just run down the bullet points on his life path that I rolled, I can totally do that if that is what we're talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. Go down the life path. Don't skip any parts. And while you're going through those parts, if while you were doing it you thought of some details with it, by all means, interject that.
He does also have. He has his right arm is cybernetic, but it is an absolute piece of shit cyber arm. It is just there's no chrome on it. It is just like a functioning thing that he has strapped to his right arm. So he's a Ripper Doc essentially, but I'm taking that pretty loosely. I don't really know. I mean, he has no fixed place of business. Like what I imagine him doing is setting up a stall and providing medical services to people as cheaply as he possibly can before he gets run out of town and then moves on. He does apparently have a secret partner with mob and gang connections, which I think was probably just a person who helps him get supplies. Actually, I rolled that his workspace was sterilized daily like clockwork, which might also be true if he is working off of a folding table. He just I am sterilizing this alleyway. We're taking this very seriously. He's a very serious guy. Sorry.
This secret partner who provides him with things, who is well connected to gangs and so on, that could probably be a Bigato as a level 5 fixer, who is well connected, and actually in his rollability life path, it says that he supplies things like drugs, medical stuff, and so on to people.
That. Oh, I love that. And maybe with the current climate that Gato and Bodak and Pixie are in, maybe Gato is using this time to, hey, let me go back to my original fixer roots and get back to trying to supply people rather than being a full-time edge runner, because you guys are trying to lay low. And that could connect you to Dust somehow. I've got some ideas.
Gato has that connection to the Angels of the Coast, whose main income is smuggling or transporting medical supplies. So that's another connection he can put into this.
There you go.
I love it.
I also rolled that he has a backdoor into a few corporate hospitals where he steals supplies.
Just trying to find
and I took that very to heart when I statted him out. He is an accomplished forger and thief and con man and disguise artist. So he's like at least that's the way I dumped points into him. I don't mean, obviously he's not a fixer, but North American, he is friendly and outgoing. He wears gang colors and has ritual scars, which I had thoughts about, but I'm not committed to anything. I'll come back to that in a second. He values knowledge most. His feelings about most people is he likes everybody. He's a very friendly guy. His most valued person was a, quote, parent, but I thought that could be like a medical teacher or mentor or some gang leader who took him under his wing at one point. Most valued possession is a piece of jewelry. I have thoughts there. I haven't really zeroed in on that yet. Family background was combat zoners. At some point, he transitioned from there and joined life in a nomad pack. When his family vanished, he had a family crisis. His family vanished, and he wound up in the nomads. A nomad, I don't know what. And assuming that they were road-based nomads, I had thought that his ritual scars might be like tire tracks around his remaining arm and torso, like burned into his flesh. His life goals are to save, if possible, anyone involved in his background, like a lover or family member or just people in general. He had one tragic love affair, his girlfriend, who was shot to death in a random street shooting, which we can certainly change if necessary.
Wait, say that again?
I rolled... He had a tragic love affair with a girlfriend who was shot to death in a random street fight.
Okay.
and he has no enemies. He rolled no enemies, and he rolled no friends because it's a -7 modifier on that, right? So it didn't work out that way that there were connections there. But we can certainly pad it out if you want to.
Exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, that's where I'm at.
No, I love it. I think if anybody in their life path has some type of ex-lover that was murdered, or friend that was murdered, or family member that was murdered, it might be fun to make that the love interest from Dust's past. The other thing too is the fact that he doesn't have any friends or enemies. We could always make like some subsidiary, or the man himself, Ling Po, or one of his an enemy from a past. We can come up with something there, or a common enemy from somebody else's past. But I already like the connection between Gato and Dust. I think that absolutely works. That he's one of the fixers that you hit up for supplies. So that works immediately. But let's get into let's get into Scoop, and everyone just keep thinking about Dust, and then obviously while Scoop's talking, let's think about that as well. But you want to take the mic there?
Really quickly, if I may, what's not in my character sheet there is that he is he's a political radical. He wants to destroy neo-capitalism and institute a society without hierarchies, and he also really, really, really avoids killing people. In fact, I'm thinking about switching his weapon out that I kitted him out with. He's very much a pacifist, which may present complications.
Nice. I love creative characters like that, especially in Cyberpunk. When they have a weird quirk to them, and my God, being in Cyberpunk and being a pacifist, that's insane. We'll see how that pans out.
Yeah. I mean, self-defense,
luckily you have some tough friends now. You'll be working with some tough people, so maybe they'll have your back. Scoop.
Okay. So I have chosen to play a media. His name is Scoop Gently. Hello, Scoop Gently here. He is he's a 60-year-old man. You've got one pacifist and one aging gentleman. So good luck to the new people on your team. He's North American, and he's also friendly and outgoing. Dust and Scoop have already coming in with a few similarities. The man in question, his appearance, the closest person that I can give you is, think Kevin Costner, an aging Kevin Costner, with long, grey, ratty, straw-like hair. That's probably down to like shoulder length. He's not someone that... He's a man that you can tell in his youth was quite an attractive gentleman, and he was quite a charismatic man, and that does carry over into his 60s. But as you'll come to know, that's something that he's left by the wayside, and he doesn't look after himself in the way that he once did. So he's general chic. So the way that I kind of look at that is, wears a simple white business top, a brown leather vest, brown trench coat, black pants, combat boots, just fairly simple. As far as Night City and the Cyberpunk world goes, he's very bland. He's not really someone that cares too much about style. Once again, he did, but a lot of his priorities and a lot of what he wants held dear has definitely changed. What does he value the most? Honesty. And the reason for that, I'll get into. I'm getting ahead of myself. I'm excited. He values honesty over all things. The way he feels about people in general is that every person is a valuable individual. So the way I kind of interpret that is whether they are somebody that is going to teach you a lesson through being an enemy, or whether it's a friend, or everyone has some sort of value that can be used, or they can impart some sort of lesson on you, even if it's a negative one. You accrue experience, and you further yourself as a person through trial and adversity, as well as everything that is positive. So he kind of he utilized that much more negatively in his life as a reporter, as a younger man. He definitely used and abused people and used and abused information. And now he still holds that mentality, but he's hoping to use that for a more positive change. as far as a most valued person is concerned, I have a celebrity of sorts. And as I was flicking through the book, I started thinking that person, I don't think he knows her directly, but he values Fiona Hayes. And the reason, so Fiona Hayes is a media in Night City who is known for basically getting to the truth and for taking down a lot of corporations and unsavory people, which in turn pisses off a lot of people. And that doesn't seem to bother her per se. So her values and her career is something that he aspires to, if not replicate, at the very least be take as kind of a blueprint on how a media should be, on how a reporter should operate, especially someone that is a lot younger than him as well. And that's something that he kind of notices could have been himself, but he went down a different path. I won't talk about his most valued possession. I shall that'll be a secret from Scoop Gently for now.
Nice.
And as far as his family background is concerned, I rolled for corporate technicians. So I think Scoop Gently, so being 60 years old, he grew up in the early 2000s. He's someone that had a pretty easy suburban middle-class background. So he was an only child, nothing out of the ordinary. He wasn't brought up with a silver spoon, but he was never wanting. He was never left wanting. His childhood environment, though, was in a corporate luxury skyscraper. So the way I thought of that for Scoop is that his parents had a family friend in the corporate world, and so they'd spend a lot of time up in kind of the corporate box, and he got to delve into a life of luxury, and that's where he kind of spent time with his parents and got used to the idea of how people in upper society work, and that's where he started formulating this idea that he could become a reporter, could report on the news in Night City. But what became the way that the luxury skyscraper and that luxury lifestyle imprinted itself on Scoop is that as a reporter, he was someone that wasn't so much interested in the truth as the truth, or what media corps were willing to, if they were to give him a lifestyle that he wanted, which was a lifestyle of drinking and sex, he would spurt whatever truth that they wanted him to. So as long as he was provided with kind of the base needs that he was used to, he'll say what you want. He's a charismatic guy. Media Corps exploited that, but by the same token, he didn't do anything to stop it. He used that kind of charismatic voice of his to spurt whatever nonsense and bury whatever truth that they wanted. And so where I've left this vague is things like who that media corp was, whether it's one specific entity that he worked for. I figure things like that can
before you go
maybe
on,
tie into
what I would love with that is maybe you used to work for IMG and had a shitty situation there as well, where maybe you got fired for something, or I don't know, and anyone can chime in. But when we connect Dust and Gato, and I have another way to bring Scoop in, maybe there's that also background, like, oh shit, I used to work for IMG too. Like, yeah, man, they suck. They fired us. I don't know. Maybe there's something there too. What were we gonna say, Pixie?
As a poster girl for Arasaka at one point, it could be that we've done several interviews, or he's done, the camera work behind, the poster girl, and doing, and here's, Arasaka showing off their, 10-year-old wonder child shooting their guns as, an ad campaign.
Yeah, I like that too. There could be like
as a media, you have to start somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think he was
very low
definitely
level.
He was definitely a media for hire in that respect. The thing that becomes interesting is that there was a big family crisis where we all have tragic backstories. It's just the way of cyberpunk. His entire family was killed, and he was the only survivor. The big kind of moment for Scoop is that because he also, being the age that he is, he lived through the fall. He lived through a lot of like the big hard times of the early 20s, and even there was a moment where his faulty reporting finally got the better of him. It became a personal thing where he put out a truth that pissed off a booster gang. Some sort of booster gang. Once again, I've left that vague for a reason. A media corp got him to basically bury a particular gang for whatever means that they wanted. But because of that, that gang took it out on Scoop and everyone that Scoop held dear, which was his parents. So finally, something that he had done actually affected him personally. And it's when it started to unravel and he realized, the shit that I do actually tends to hurt people. And now I've seen that firsthand. And so that was around the age of 40 that happened. And from that point, he actually excommunicated himself from Night City. He exiled himself, and he's been living a reclusive life for the better part of almost 20 years. And it's only just recently, when this campaign starts potentially, where he's brought himself back to Night City, not to run away from his past, but to find some measure of atonement or redeeming. So his big thing is he wants to find some sort of big truth, something that he can expose, something that he can, and he doesn't know whether that will redeem himself in his own eyes, but it's a start. And it's a way, selfishly, for him to feel better about himself. I've got his big kind of life goal as to live down your past and try to forget it. So he hasn't changed his name. 20 years have passed, so it's kind of up in the air whether people remember the name Scoop Gently. He was a big, charismatic investigator reporter 20, 30 years ago. So there might be older media personalities or people in corps that may know him, but otherwise he can come in relatively fresh.
Yeah, and what was that?
I was going to say, just one kind of thought to tie Scoop and Bodak together. Bodak works as a freelance netrunner, specialising in corporate intrusion. And I've got a secret kind of partner who has who has corporate connections. I don't know who they are, but they supply me with information when I need it. And Bodak also very strongly kind of believes in truth and in a personal code. He has his own personal honour. So it could be that you've employed Bodak at times to get you bits of information we got from corporate sources.
Yeah, I like that. And I like that Scoop had, a rocky past in that it, being an information for hire, you'll put out whatever, kind of caught up to you and, hit close to home with your parents, but then exiling yourself allows us to kind of bring you back to like a rollability 4, with the exception of this 360 IP, because it's always weird when you hear of an older character in Cyberpunk, and if they have a history of like doing all this investigative reporting, they made a name for themselves. Well, hell, you wouldn't be a starting rank 4 all of a sudden again. Yeah. But it does make sense if that caught up to you, ruined that career, that rollability of, and brought you back down because you exiled yourself, your name was slightly ruined or whatever, or at least lost momentum because of you leaving for 20 years. Now you're coming back, trying to build it back up. So it kind of makes sense that you'd be back, down to a level 4.
Yeah, that was something that was important, because if I do want to, it means I can simultaneously say he was a big name back in the day, but how many reporters do you remember from 20, 30 years ago? Right. So it's that thing where we can, from a game perspective, we can bring him back, and not many people, if anyone's going to know that name, because it's 20 years of being out of the loop.
Yeah.
Also, if he has been away for 20 years, he needs to get some connections inside Night City to get back into the life. And he's 60, so he's about the same age as Ava was, and we still have the agent of Ava. So it might be that he just tried to call Ava, that he knew Ava, and just call us.
Yeah, what would make more sense, Gato, is instead of Scoop hitting up maybe Bodak for information because of the age thing, maybe Scoop used to get information from Ava. They're the same age.
Yep.
They grew up together, something along those lines, and they worked together. And he went away for 20 years. He's back. It's his only connection he still has the number for, hoping it's still active after 20 years, calls that agent, and you guys answer. engage in conversation. You tell them what happened. That was your mentor. She passed. Oh my God, she passed. You guys end up, connecting that way.
I really like that idea of you enter this new city like, well, what do I do? Oh, I mean, it's been 20 years, but maybe that number still works.
I love that.
And it
motivates you to also have their back in the anti-Ling Po motivations, because it's like, oh wait, that's who killed her? That was my only friend, like Ava. What the hell? And it's also Gato's mentor.
I love that. That's I think that's a solid connection.
Then he might even know me as a small kid.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Huh?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. Scoop should think of a little nickname for Gato that he used to call him when he was a little kid that he can still use as an adult. That's a little maybe awkward at times, but it means something between you two. I don't know. Don't think of it right away. Sleep on it. But I think there's something there that could be kind of cute and interesting. I don't know. But yeah, I think Capricious and Shadow shit Rob's bringing back Ling Po. Yeah, you missed the beginning of this. I know you got here a little bit late. I saw you mention that in chat. But we're taking Pixie, Bodak, and Gato from the ongoing one-shots that we were doing, making a proper ongoing with Scoop and Dust, but still grabbing some of that lore that we had and bringing it over so these characters can evolve and all make sense. So Ling Po's still in the picture, and he still can't stand them, and vice versa. But okay, so I love how Scoop's kind of tied in. I love how Dust has the connection to Gato as just, a random fixer he gets supplies from. But I think the connection of working together and taking it above just the guy you call for supplies could come from maybe Pixie, Bodak, and Gato laying low in the underground because of Ling Po and everything that went down, looking for a way to kind of make money again, do some type of job, but obviously you don't want to do some normal 9-to-5 where like you have a company card or you're posting on public boards or something. You're trying to stay out of Ling Po's radar, obviously. But maybe there's something with Dust. Maybe the fact that, Gato, you supply him with supplies. Maybe there's a time like, hey, you're talking to Dust and it's like, man, we just went through all this shit, kind of looking for work, something that we can do on the side or something. Maybe there's something, because one of the things I wanted to try to do, the other team that I run, runs that media corporation, Veritas, and they're running their own media corporation. Then we've got the Sirenscape team where they're working for the district PD. I want to do something similar with this team to where it's not just the typical, everyone's an edge runner, everyone looks for jobs on the board and does random things. That's so typical. It's been done since like 2020. You know what I mean? Like I like doing something a little more unique, like giving you a business, giving you a thing or something. Maybe I'd love to do something around Dust if we can. Something around the him being a Ripper Doc, trying to establish his own like mobile thing, and the fact he's trying to help people lines up with like Scoop trying to now do good, break good stories or break a big story, not just sell fake stories or do whatever it takes. The fact that Gato, Bodak, and Pixie, although you guys are willing to break laws to get jobs done, you guys have kind of always leaned towards being the good guys in a way. Like you guys only fuck up the bad guys to get shit done or get through, So motivation-wise, it could kind of make sense that you would be aligned with Dust trying to help people in general, but it allows you to kind of have this job, a way to make money and do some stuff and maybe be off of the edge runner radar or whatever that Ling Po's looking for you or something. Maybe there's something there. Or if Dust doesn't want to be a Ripper Doc or his own independent, maybe there's some connection to like, I don't want to say Trauma Team. Everyone uses that. I would love to bring in like REO Meatwagon or something, but maybe there's something there. But my first choice is Dust.
Corporate medicine, man. I don't know about that shit.
Well, I'm glad you said that because my first choice is definitely the Ripper Doc vibe because that opens up so many doors to great, it can still get missions and gigs and sessions done as if it was an Edge Runner team, but it gives it a little more of a, I don't know, an organization to it or something. I don't know the words I'm looking for, but it just feels better if like, you guys are trying to start up a mobile medical unit or team, or you're going to back up Dust in this or something. I think there's something there. What does everybody else think?
Yeah, could work. Although I've kind of got visions now, somebody calling for medical assistance and Pixie just turning up with her assault rifle to get them out.
But see, I could see it like if he's a Ripper Doc, think about, you need someone to run security, just like when Trauma Team shows up, they've got like armed guards and shit, like, and then you got Bodak to handle any like net running things that have to get done if you're going into a sticky situation of helping people or doing something, and Gatto's the hookup for supplies. Scoop could be about, you
need a way to
marketing,
advertise it.
exactly, publicity and all that, and then breaking the stories that you come across during these jobs and things.
Also, this is a way to open doors.
Yeah.
I think I really like that idea. Like as you mentioned, a lot of Cyberpunk teams, they're either, the investigative team, like if you're working for the PD, like your other group is. I do like this idea of a group that's looking more from the side of like a medical group, and in Cyberpunk that does mean that you're not just a hospital or a clinic. You're also people that are going to have to go out into the field and get your hands dirty. And I feel like there's a lot of juicy points.
It does also tie in back to the one shots, because as Gatto mentioned earlier, we have now got that good relationship with the Angels of Mercy, and obviously their main thing is bringing kind of pharmaceuticals and medical supplies into Night City and into the surrounding area. So us actually then kind of getting into that kind of line of work, it kind of ties things in quite nicely. We've got a good supply line. We know people. So it's a good. And obviously, it just ties it all in together.
Yeah. No, and Donna Trace Cuervo. Am I getting that right?
Yeah, I read that, the Hotel Artemis.
Hotel Artemis kind of theme. I love that. I love that movie. If anybody hasn't seen Hotel Artemis, it's very cyberpunk and it's very med tech. It's awesome.
I love it. I love that movie.
Yeah.
Never saw it.
Maybe it's something you're aspiring to. Eventually, you want to be the new REO Meatwagon or Troma, or have your own like independent mobile thing. But right now, it's kind of it's just an idea, and you guys are getting together and trying to back up Dust with his idea of doing this, or what he Dust has been doing this, I guess, right? But just
I wrote him so that he could have been. Yeah, okay. I mean, I'm happy to find a way to nest my character into what's already established and going on here. I mean, if everything centers up around him, I guess that's cool too. I feel it's all right. That's fine. That's great.
I love it because.
But I mean, I can find motivations for him to do just about anything because he can easily be deluded.
Okay. Yeah, no, I like it. But you said like before, if he's trying to help people and doesn't have a set location, but he likes to keep it clean. Yeah, it makes sense that like, all right, I'm going to set up in this abandoned building in the combat zone and help the locals. Or I'm going to set up in this alleyway and help this. Or I heard there's a possible designer plague that broke out over here. Let's go over there and try to help people and see what's up with that. Things like that. And then obviously you get there, you try to set up your tent, your plastic, your cubicle, whatever you have. You're disinfecting shit. I really like that idea. And with the team,
I just like the idea of him being like to a fault, like almost like a counter to Cyberpunk's thing. Like he will be hungry and poor and homeless to actually like be a doctor, to do doctoring. So it might, if everybody else is trying to make a living off of it, there could be conflict.
But I like that, and I also like that you're a pacifist, but you're going to need help in non-pacifist situations, and that's where like maybe your teammates will step in and help you, even though maybe you're like, do we really have to do this? So I kind of like these conflicts of character.
I think that, I mean, to be clear too, I don't think he's like a pacifist to the point where he's just going to sit there and get shot to death. But he's definitely like going to have a lot of pause about like intentionally committing homicides or putting himself in any situation where he would definitely have to start shooting people. He's not a killer. He tries not to kill people.
Yeah.
That kind of works really well with Bodak though, because Bodak has a code that he follows, and although we have been in fights and I have killed people with Bodak, there's been just as many times where Bodak has de-escalated things. Like, obviously, when we were at the funeral, there was no fighting at all. That was all about stealth and intrusion. When we got to that bar, if you remember, I had the autocannons, I had the blood swarms.
Oh, yeah.
I talked everybody down. That I had the power that I could have fought, I could have killed, but that's not how Bodak operates. He only hurts or kills if it's a last resort.
Mm. Yeah, I like that.
Cool. We can get along.
Yeah. So I think I like the way that all this is connecting. What I'd like to do is, I'm obviously going to think of a session 0 moving forward from the point of view already working together and knowing each other. So maybe now let's come up with a little story of how it came back in. Like, for instance, Pixie, Bodak, Gatto, that shit went down. Juliana Trench blew up the place you were trying to go in to get more info on Lingpo. You kind of forcing you all to go in the underground. Knowing Gato, he can easily get you places to stay in the combat zone to be off the radar for a while. That all makes sense, and you're looking back to make money. Then over the course of that underground time, Dust is hitting up Gato for supplies, sparking the idea, hey, maybe we can work with Dust, that sort of thing. Scoop has been out, but he comes back, calls the number, hits up Gato, Gato's answering, and there's that whole connection there, like, oh my God, and oh God, this is little Gato, I remember, that sort of thing. And we'll figure out the nickname thing maybe. But all of that makes sense. Is there anything else we can elaborate within that or describe that or just give that a little more life? The initial coming together, the initial Scoop coming into the picture with Gato thing, the team figuring out like, hey, maybe we can work with this Dust guy. Yeah, this is a good idea. Like, is there anything else that we can elaborate on these things to just solidify all that shit? So starting on session 0, when we get into it, we can just moving forward, y'all are together, and you know what I mean? Like, for instance, where, like, if everybody's in the underground, I would picture Gato, Bodak, and Pixie are currently staying in, like, a little abandoned house or something in the combat zone that Gato had a hookup to that you guys have been just laying low for the past couple months, right? So you guys have been staying together. Scoop came back into the city, called, found out about all that. Would Scoop, obviously not having a place to go, oh my God, and would Gato be like, well, Scoop, what the hell? I haven't seen you since I was a kid. Come stay with us for a while till you get on your feet now that you're back in the city. Does that make sense?
There you go.
Gato would actually ask for the opinion of the other two because they're sharing the RV, and if he tells them to come and stay with us, it has to be to not fuck up the situation. If any one of them doesn't like the idea.
Yeah, I keep forgetting about the RV too. By the way, scratch the abandoned house. You guys are have been staying in the RV, like parked in an abandoned lot or down an alley next to an abandoned building or something along those lines. I keep forgetting about the RV. Don't let me forget that shit.
I mean, Bodak, to be honest, would have major reservations about a media coming to start with us, especially after being burnt by the last media that we knew.
Yeah.
But at the same time, he has enough respect for Gato that if Gato vouches for Scoop, then Bodak would be cool with it. But it would be like, at the first sign of trouble, he's out the door. He's on his way.
Yeah.
And I feel like that could be even interesting for you, Bodak, because you would most likely. Oh,
I think we lost somebody.
We lost.
Greg.
Oh shit.
Greg.
Come back to it.
Something Greg. We said.
He's like, fuck this team. I'm out.
Should I keep talking or should we wait?
Yeah, let's wait 1 second. I'm sure he's probably getting back in.
Yeah, I didn't think I was talking that much. Come on, Greg.
Yeah, something we said, I think. But no, I like that idea so far, at least as getting Scoop, if Dust is going to be kind of the connection for the job thing, it'd be cool if we get Scoop with the team prior to that, like he would call, make that connection, already be with them, and then that's when Gato would be like, hey, we all need to make some money. I know this guy Dust that I've been supplying. He's trying to come up and establish himself as this traveling Ripper Doc thing, and like maybe we could help him or something. Like I kind of like that, but Greg's back. Let's see. Greg, can you hear us?
My camera up?
Your
I can hear
camera's
you
not
fine.
up.
I don't know what happened there.
Your camera's not there. See if you can.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. I don't know what happened. It just said you were inactive, and then it threw me out.
Oh.
I don't know what the hell that caused. What causes that? What causes that? Oh, man. Test video. Okay, cool. I think I'm back. Should be working now.
It's not a live stream if there's not some form of tech issue.
Yeah. No, still not seeing the videos. Anybody else?
No, not yet.
No.
Really weird. Probably
there
because
you go.
somehow
Hey.
the button for turning it off got ticked or something somehow in that whole process.
All right, cool.
I'm very sorry. I did
some
miss
shit
a
happens.
minute there, probably. So I apologize.
Yeah, we paused.
You guys were laying low, and it was the basic idea that like I am a local Ripper Doc who haunts the neighborhood that you guys were laying low in. Is that the idea, or was it
Well,
not?
the idea is that I think Scoop, came back in, connected with Gato by calling the number of Ava, his mentor. They got murdered. They find that story. They make the connection like, oh my God, this is little Gato. I remember you were a kid. I remember you back in the day. And then maybe Gato, Bodak, and Pix, Gato talks to the rest of the team. They agree, okay, we'll trust this media guy since Gato can vouch for him, has known him since he was a little kid, and was best friends with his mentor. So then they invite Scoop to come stay with him is the idea. So I'm trying to get like them together with that, and then collectively they're all like, whoa, we do need to make some money and get back out there, but we need to avoid Link Po. Maybe we can do something different than the typical edge running. And that's when Gato's like, well, hell, I've been supplying this guy Dust who's trying to do this traveling Ripper Doc, and he's trying to establish himself. Maybe we can go work with him and help with him. Scoop?
Dust's traveling medicine show.
I was going to say as well, there's something that's potentially interesting about. I like this idea that when Gato brings up this, there's this person that I knew from back in the day, and Bodak, the netrunner, could probably pretty easily, look up Scoop gently from back in the day and see kind of this history of someone who was a little bit off and kind of spattered all these, and that can have and especially for someone that has such a code of honor, there can be a little bit of contention in there for Bodak especially. It's like Gato does vouch for him, but there's also this past associated, so there's a bit of tension there as well potentially.
Oh, yeah, I like that.
And
so he would find out that you've been away for 20 years, so Gato probably didn't even know you were in media because he was a kid when you left.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Scoop's at this point now, like, since Bodak's like, I'll trust him because Gato can vouch. They've known each other forever, which is rare in Night City to, make it to the 6 years old. But I think there's also a cool thing there with, like, Bodak has his doubts with Scoop, and Scoop's, constantly trying to prove himself. Like, I'm a new man. Like, yeah, I used to sell myself back in the day. I was a bit of a sellout, but now I'm trying to do right, and it's this. Maybe until a few sessions, until a few successful gigs of proving yourself, it might take that until Bodak truly opens up to Scoop or has his moment,
Yeah, plus
Absolutely.
Bodak is neutral to people anyway, so yeah, if you kind of come in on the wrong side of him from the start, it's going to take quite a while for him to warm and to start to trust.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that'd be good.
2 questions, if I may. The events that sent you guys into Underground, were you wounded?
No.
Was there was no fight? Okay.
No, they were about to.
All right.
But it was finished very
Never
quick.
mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, most of my fight against Ling Po was done from behind a keyboard.
Yeah, fair enough. I thought maybe I could be like, we'll call in so and so while we're laying low to 10, but nope, not there.
That's a good idea
okay.
too. Yeah, I think Scoop coming back with the team, looking for work, and the Gato connection for Dust can work so far the best, unless anything else comes up with it.
With that said, though, Dust, I get all of my programs and get a lot of my work by going into the old combat zones and to the like ruined buildings to kind of salvage and get into the data nodes and things. So although with the Ling Po thing I didn't get hurt, I do get hurt fairly frequently when I'm salvaging and gathering all my equipment. So maybe you're the Ripper Doc that I use.
It could be. And I'm not, like, I am, I don't know how, you guys are handling reputation score and stuff like that. Obviously, I think it's point, you start at 1, so, and I don't think you can buy that up with IP, so that's something to discuss. But, like, I am not a quiet individual. I am trying to draw attention to myself. So, I mean, it would, I'm desperately letting people know that, like, I provide free medical services or, like, extremely low cost medical services. So it's not like I'm trying to anybody can know me. You know what I mean? Like, if you want to go that way, it's not that hard.
I kind of like that Bodak, if maybe, during the underground time, after the bomb, during the underground time, the Scoop connection happens with Gato, comes into play, I knew him as a kid coming in, then he comes to stay with you, just getting back to Night City, trying to establish, thinking of a way to make money. Gato thinks of Dust, right? Like, maybe we can work with him. And then when that shit happens, like when you guys first get together, maybe Bodak's like, oh shit, Dust Monday, that's the dude who healed me up, a couple weeks ago or like last month. But, like maybe there was a time when you were getting supply, programs and things, or doing something during the underground couple months, where you did cross paths with Dust. So then when Gato connects you to do the job, you didn't know it was coming, but when you finally showed up and saw each other, it was like, oh shit, okay, yeah, we know each other too.
That would really work, because obviously Bodak is all about staying off the radar. So the last thing he'd want to do is go to trauma team or to any of the formal kind of doctors, because that's the easiest way for Poe to track him down. So somebody like Dust would be the perfect person for Bodak to be using.
And Pixie too. Pixie's a solo. I imagine same thing. You don't want to go to the typical trauma team REO meat wagon where it's on the books, insurance, or whatever. Maybe you're a little more back alley Ripper Doc. I like that. And then that pulls Dust in too, not just supplies, but knowing each other. What was that?
Free sounds nice.
Yeah.
More money for your Coke.
Yeah.
It's a sliding scale price based on how many bills he has that month, but he charges as low as he can get away with without starving to death. So,
Nice.
there's not like a fixed price. It's like, yeah, I'm out of cigarettes. So today that does cost a couple bucks, but
No, I like that a lot.
And also,
As soon as they're working together, Gato is going to take over all this accounting anyway. So he'll take care that we'll get paid.
That is a fixer's thing, is getting that extra 10% or whatever.
yeah.
I think that works as well from Scoop's point of view, is that he's so disenfranchised with the idea of big media corps and big corps in general. So the idea of using trauma team, but instead undercutting them and starting from the ground up just works perfectly.
Oh yeah, I love it. Everyone.
We don't have to charge as low as possible, as long as we stay below the prices of the others.
Look at him already working his angle. Like we haven't even gotten a session when he's like, now guys, look, we can still make a little more money doing this. Like,
Ethically making a lot of money.
Yeah.
And especially with that money, we can get better facilities, better equipment to help the people even better.
That's true.
Yeah, no, that is fair. I mean, like that's he's a man of he has a internally conflicting philosophy that he's at war with himself. So it's there's yeah, for sure. Like, yeah,
I love that.
It goes both ways there.
Yeah, does
he also has a lot of vices and likes to party.
Well, him and Pixie.
Oh no! I'm trying to get out of that life. Now you're bringing me back into it.
They pull me back in.
Also, Gato is a devil.
Hardy.
Listen.
Also, Gato is a devil talking with angel tongues, so you'll notice whatever's necessary.
Can I ask a question about Dust? Dust Monday. With his kind of philosophy in terms of wanting to kind of be antithesis to the cyberpunk world, is he aware of how society generally works and that he's very much against the grain, or is it more of a naive?
No, he's not. I mean, he has a very clear understanding of how the world works, and he is choosing. He chooses violence in so many words. He is a very. There's a very specific political philosophy that he is engaged in and is trying his damnedest to do his small part to buck against the way things head and make the world a better place, at least, in his general vicinity. I try to make the goodest good guy. He's a goody good guy.
Yeah. Well, and I like the internal conflict of like you said, sliding scale, free to lowest price. You're just trying to at least cover your bills, but you're trying to help people. Gato trying to make as much money, as possible for the team, or have it make fair sense. We just need to be under the others technically. But I like the internal conflict of Dust in the sense of like trying to be like that, but also smart enough to realize like, well, fuck, I got to help myself so I can help other people better. Like if I help myself with more money, I can buy better equipment. I can afford to do more things and help people. And like, there's a lot of internal conflict with that, and I like that.
That's why he prefers to steal the equipment. So
and Gato will definitely help to keep this inner conflict running.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And even make it more.
God, you must have been a shitty kid that I knew back in the day.
Or smart, maybe a little bit ahead of his time. You know, like one of those kids that's a bit more mature than the other kids. You know, making money off of the other kids and shit. You know,
Running the best lemonade stand there is.
Yeah, exactly. Doing deals with lunches and shit, trading people's snacks for other snack. Like he's a little kid, little entrepreneur.
Well, Gato's the guy who does what's necessary to achieve his goals. So,
Oh yeah.
I do have a rules question. When I take my role, or can we not discuss? Is this not for this conversation?
Yeah. What?
So, I get like I've never played a med tech, and we didn't even have a med tech in any of the games I was running. So that's one of the reasons I wanted to play a med tech, just because it was like fun to explore. So you take your role points and then you split them. You'd allocate them between either surgery, and then pharmatech or med tech pharmaceuticals, or med tech cryopump. I took 0 in cryopump. I'm split 2 points each for surgery and pharmaceuticals. Each point in pharmaceuticals allows me to choose a pharmaceutical that I'm capable of, that I know how to make. And there's like a very short list of 5 of them. And then it just says like, and it does not explain why, that you cannot make street drugs. Was there ever a clarification on that, or why, or an errata or something? I'm just curious as to why that was. Is it a game balance thing? Or what's up with that?
I don't know. Maybe something's going to come out about that in Chrome or something. But
that might be. There
might be a bit to that to making the drugs. But I'll look into it. I'll see what I can find out, and I'll talk to Jay and James about that as well from RTG and see.
Sure.
If there's something they can put in. But you are right about the rollability points and splitting them and such, and then you pick which ones you want to make, and then like I don't have it right in front of me, but it takes you 45 minutes or so much based on your rank to make them, and how many doses you can make. All that's right there.
So you can make in a 1 hour for 100 Eurobucks, you can make doses equal to your pharmaceuticals score. So I can produce 2 doses of X for $100 in an hour.
But I think it's a game balance thing, because the pharmaceuticals you make, only you can use them. So you can't give them the drugs to us to use.
You can just like sell them.
So obviously, if you could make narcotics, you could sell them and make loads of money above the hustle rate.
Right.
And also, they are very, very powerful.
Yeah,
the street drugs are. Yeah, they're crazy.
They're really, really, they're really, really powerful, like the speed heal and so on.
Oh, speed heal is, that's why I took speed heal and surge. I was like, not sleeping seems like in his vibe, and speed heal just seems universally good. Like it just instantly fixes problems. So, kill.
Yeah, I think we're good as far as going over the lines and veils, going over the life paths, getting a clear understanding of how each character looks and the general personality and stuff, and then obviously how we've connected them. I'm really satisfied with how we connected them, and I feel like it's not just a job. It's not just, hey, we're all thrown together as edge runners trying to make money together on this work board or over here. Like, I don't know. I love the whole Scoop Gato thing, the Gato supply thing, all of them needing to be healed and not wanting to go to a major establishment looking for Ripper Docs, which makes sense based on the things that they've done as a team. Like, it all kind of ties together and makes sense. I don't feel like we're forcing anything, and that's awesome. Anything else that anybody wants to interject? Anything that comes to mind for the team knowing each other, life path stuff? Anything else?
No, sounds like a good team.
Yeah. I think we're good.
Scoop talks in the third person, so have fun with that.
Okay.
Well, refers to himself as Scoop.
Yeah, Scoop talks about it like this way. Scoop's been exiled for 20 years, so he developed a few quirks. Scoop did.
I like
it's
it.
Very.
Well, Gato will probably be on the lookout for an additional building that they can just occupy for the clinic.
Well, what's kind of cool is, Dust has been running around out of a backpack and with his supplies to set up in an alleyway, an abandoned thing or whatever. Y'all have an RV, which is kind of cool.
It would be neat, yeah.
And who's to say you can't eventually get a trailer you pull around that opens up into a mobile little medical unit or something, you have just a trailer or something, or use part of the RV, or like Gato said, find a home base that you can work out of or something.
Yeah, find a home base and perhaps find a van to steal or something.
Yeah.
We haven't been above stealing cars before, so.
Oh, yeah.
I really do like this idea of like as part of our business, there is this thing of yes, we have a stationed Ripper Doc, and that's potentially where the clinic is, but there's also like the impulse to have a story where there are people that are injured somewhere, and it's our job to go and extract them and bring them back to the Ripper Doc. So you just got that's why we have a solo. So Pixie's there. This short Japanese woman that comes and just extracts them out. We got to get them safely to our point of place.
Right. No, absolutely. That's what I loved when Dust said about being mobile. Is it absolutely fits into like any potential gig or mission. You know what I mean? There's just the fact that you're not just at one place, people come to you. The fact that he's mobile, man, that's awesome.
That's totally the thing for Bodak as well. At the minute we've got Poe's gunning for us. So what's the point of us setting down routes and setting up a surgery? He's just going to hit that with a mobile unit. We're always on the move, and we can go where we need to be.
That's true.
Bodak has got no plans at the minute to set down routes. Not when we can keep on the move.
I'm glad it worked out to the benefit, but I mean, it was really just a I'm out of money problem. So I guess I live in a backpack kind of situation.
It works.
And I had thoughts down the road about now that I have 360 IP, I might consider doing that a lot sooner than I thought. But I had considered multi-classing him, but we can talk about that later.
Puppy!
Unless that's something you're opposed to at the table.
No, not at all.
Also,
multi-classing is fine.
And also now seeing Echo, as we were writing before, Gato is probably going to get a dog for Pixie Dust so that Echo can play with us.
Yeah, we talked about that before. That Pixie, Tarabella has the new puppy, and during streams has to kind of keep an eye on her or him.
Yes.
Her. And so I was saying, bring her into the game. Maybe Pixie has a pet, or somehow they came across this doggy.
Don't pee on that.
Yeah, that can work.
Don't eat that. You don't know where it's been.
Exactly. So yeah, we can work that in.
Maybe
Gato got her the dog. But no, I think we got the team together. I think, like I said, Life Path makes sense. The way you all work together makes sense. We'll get into session 0, and we'll start off, with maybe the first time working together, getting together, but stepping into the first gig, so to speak. We're not going to have to, play out Scoop coming back into the city, Gato suggesting Dust to make work. That's the purpose of this. So that all has happened. You know what I mean? So moving forward, we'll take it right from that point. But this is a monthly stream. So we're going to have a little bit of time in between sessions. That being said, since going from session 0 to session 1, we'll have a little bit of time. If anything else comes up, pops in your mind, a different idea, something from the life path you forgot to mention, or anything, just shoot me a message, or put it in the group chat there on the Discord, so everyone can read it, and we'll work with it. And that way, stepping into session 1, we can be the best that we can be.
Awesome. That's exciting. That sounds great.
I'm really excited.
I'm pumped.
I'm really excited. Like I said, me, Tarabella, Roten, and Steve, we've been talking about trying to turn it into an ongoing and wanting to do that. And then we had some downtime and stuff, and it just worked out perfectly to get back together. And then, Greg and Sean, for you two to join us. And it's just, I'm really excited about this. And I love the way that the characters are melting together. And like I said, I was really wanting to do something different with the team. And I already did kind of like the media organization, the working for district PD thing. I love the med tech idea, this mobile Ripper Doc concept idea. Like, it's just interesting. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah, that sounds fun.
But before we end this session 0, let's just go around the table one more time. Everyone just introduce yourselves to everybody watching. Remind them where they can find you online. And I just want to remind everybody that's watching and listening, please show the players some support. I'm going to put all the links in the description. Make sure you check everybody out, give everybody a follow, check out their businesses, all that good stuff. We would really appreciate that. That being said, Steve, you want to start it off this time?
Yeah. Hi, I'm Steve from Sirenscape, and you can check me out at All Things Sirenscape.
Hell yeah. Roten?
I'm Roten, also Renegade 420. You find me everywhere with that nickname, and well, you can find me as a mod on Cyberpunk Uncensored.
Oh yeah, you've been a great partner for a while, man, helping me out even before we're playing together. So that's definitely your home. I know when we were streaming both. How was it?
It's about a year and a half now.
Yeah, and I know for a while you were always saying, well, I'm online, but I don't, really push a brand. And I was like, fuck, man, you've been part of our team for a long time, man. So consider that your home. Your home, Tarabella, before you say bye, introduce yourself one last time. I want to just thank you for joining us. I know you were under the weather. Hopefully it's not COVID, but I appreciate you jumping back in, even while being sick and making this happen. It means a lot. But yeah, I want you to let everyone know who you are, where they can find you.
It's my pleasure to be here, even though I'm a little bit sick. I'm getting coughs and sniffles in here. I'm Tarabella. You can find me mostly on Facebook, kind of haunting around. Best chances of getting a hold of me are actually through Talsorian. And that's me.
Yeah, we'll have to get Cody on here as a guest one time. He needs to make an appearance as an NPC or something for fun. Tell him that. That would be awesome.
Cody can be Ava.
I will.
I already said that so often.
Yeah. Greg.
My name is Greg. I have a. That was weird. My name is Greg. I have a YouTube series called How to Drink. You can find it pretty easily. And I also. We're on hiatus right now. We have a weekly Cyberpunk game we've been running for a while. Everybody had babies at the same time, so we had to take a little break. But I think we're going to come back in short order. And it streams that and other things stream at Greg from HTD over here on Twitch. So,
yeah, and for anybody that doesn't know, I met you or heard of you first because of that Johnny Silverhand drink that you did, and that just blew up in the Cyberpunk community for a minute there. But you want to fill people in on that real quick, just so they know?
Yeah, sure. I made I've been making my show
Well
for
done.
2 years, and when the game footage, and one of the things I do is I adapt video games and pop culture, media, movies, TV, anything that I think people will click on, honestly, into cocktails. And when the game footage dropped from the Cyberpunk 2077, I pounced on it and I made the Johnny Silverhand, but for reals. And I guess it was one of the big hits on the channel. It did really, really well. And then actually, CD Projekt Red loved it, and then they had changed the in-game appearance of the drink to actually look like the one I made, which is why there's the bugs, which is why. So it was my fault. I delayed the release. I think it pushed back an extra 3 months when that happened.
Yeah, it was all about that. That drink fucked it all up.
Yeah, it was my fault. Everybody, just put it on me. Just put all your hate and your internet rage directly, pour it straight into my soul. It only makes me stronger. And then we've just not too long ago, I finally did follow it up with the Jackie Wells, and so that's out there now too. You can check out the Jackie Wells.
Awesome.
So that's on your YouTube, the Jackie Wells?
Yeah, it's up. Yep.
Okay, I'll have to check that out.
It's great how YouTube works. Nobody gets to see anything unless YouTube says so. So people are always like, when are you going to do this? When are you going to do that? I'm like, it's really weird because that seems like it's top of mind of your interests, and you also love my show, and yet you never cross paths with the exact episode 3 years ago when I did that. So it's funny how YouTube picks and chooses who to see what. So cool times.
All the social.
I certainly can't complain.
All the social media sites do that shit too. Like you'll have all these followers, subscribers, friends, and they're like they don't see your shit unless like you pay for ads and stuff. Like they all got those wonky algorithms to make their money,
Them algorithms. We gotta bash them. We gotta destroy the man. We gotta collapse neo-capitalism and set people free, man. We gotta destroy these corporations.
We gotta drop some rabbits on those algorithms, man.
Yeah.
Sean.
Yeah, so speaking of YouTube, as part of Baby Beard Media, which you can find us at Baby Beard Media on Twitter, you can also find us Baby Beard Media on YouTube, where we do a bunch of Let Plays. Currently, you have Bud from your Phil from your Sirenscape game, Rob, who's with another member of Baby Beard, Chris. They're playing through Fallout New Vegas. That's what we currently got going on over there. Otherwise, you can check out Roll2Cast, ROLE, which is our tabletop. We just finished tabletop podcast. We just finished my season that I was keeper for, which is a Pulp Cthulhu season that's wrapped up. Kids on Bikes is on coming. Otherwise, myself at at Sean Means John. You can check me out. Love to chat to you all, and I'm excited to play. Let's do it.
Hell yeah, me too. I'm Rob Mulligan. I'm the Game Master here. I'm also the founder of Cyberpunk Uncensored. You can check out cyberpunkuncensored.com to get to all the different links and things that we do. Lots of live gameplay here on Twitch. We also do a lot of archiving VODs and exclusive content on the YouTube channel as well. So just look up Cyberpunk Uncensored and show me some love. I would really appreciate that. And you reminded me, Sean, talking about Fallout. Coming up soon, I'm going to be doing some Fallout with Mad Queen. On her channel, I'll be GMing some Fallout tabletop role-playing. I'm also going to be doing a game on the Cyberpunk Uncensored. I think Brandon from Realmsmith is going to GM that for us, and I'm just going to be a player. But I'm also going to be GMing Dune, the tabletop role-playing under the Cyberpunk Uncensored brand. I did kind of hitting up Modifius and doing a partnership with that game company. They're really, really awesome to me and really nice people. And I'm
beautiful book as well.
Yeah, man, amazing. I'm gonna try to get some support over there and work with them hopefully more and more. But that's coming up too under the brand. But again, anybody watching, seriously, I'm gonna put all the links in the description of all the players, myself, everything that we all do. Please show some love to everybody. We would appreciate that. That being said, I'll hit everybody up about the next, the official session 1. We'll work out a date that works, and then I'll get it on the calendar. For Cyberpunk Uncensored. Anybody watching, if you join the Cyberpunk Uncensored Discord, we have an events calendar there that you can check out. I also post it online to our group, our fan page, Instagram. I tweet it once in a while. But that'll, just look out for the promos. Join us every month. We would really appreciate that. That being said, let's get out of here. Thanks so much. We'll see you next time.
Thanks all.
Bye.
See you guys.
Bye.
Cyberpunk Uncensored.